Welcome to a city where corruption runs through the pipes, the streets reek of decay, and conscience is just a word long since washed away by acid rain. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? This is Tromaville, a place where goodness died slowly, like a rat caught in a trap, until it returned, in the body of a mutant known as the Toxic Avenger. This episode is dedicated to all the victims of bullying, and to anyone who's ever felt not good looking enough, yet carried a kind and honest heart. And if you feel the need, share your story in the comments. Maybe it'll help someone else who's been through the same. In this video, I'll take you through the difficult journey of the Toxic Avenger. Enjoy. Meet Melvin Junko, a loser, a laughingstock, that guy with the mop always in his hands and ears, burning red from other people's laughter. In different comics, the story shifts, but all roads lead back to the same starting point, the fitness center. Melvin was a nerdy, awkward guy, but like any of us, he dreamed of something simple and human to love, and to be loved. So it's no surprise that this naive kid became the target of a cruel prank. One of the club's regulars coaxed Melvin into putting on a pink tutu, claiming that this outfit turned her on. Well, what can I say? A simple soul took the bait, and the next moment he found himself at the center of ridicule and mockery. Overcome with shame and realizing there was no way out, Melvin plunged out of the window and, by a twist of fate, landed in a vat of Grasolium-90, the most toxic substance on the planet. Direct contact with the waste horribly deformed a man, but along with disfigurement came superhuman size and strength. In another version of the story, he fell into a vat of waste that was struck by lightning. As you can imagine, Melvin mutated his body, grotesquely disfigured. Still in shock, he went home, hoping for comfort. But instead of support, his Jewish mother told him that with a face like that, his only place was on the toxic waste dump. There, Toxie was hit with a sensation he had never known before. On a cellular level, he could feel not just the presence of evil, but its very concentration. All of this was thanks to the Tromatons. Grasolium had made Melvin not only insanely strong, but also stripped him of his sweat glands. Now Toxie can flip a truck. He can effortlessly lift and hurl a car. On a single finger, he can balance and hold 500 pounds. His vision is razor sharp, and his strikes are deadly precise. His mutated body easily withstood 17.45 caliber bullets straight to the vital organs. But Toxie didn't feel a thing. No pain, nothing. In fact, the green guy simply metabolizes lead. He absorbs it, processes it inside his body as if it were just another everyday substance. And his janitorial skills never went away. Toxie still wields a mop like a weapon, sweeping every kind of trash out of his city. But his true power isn't brute strength, it's his instinct. The Tromatons not only let him sense the shades of evil, they can also trigger a berserker's rage. And on top of that, his sense of smell is extraordinary. He can break stench down into notes, identify an enemy by their odor. But every power comes with a price. Sometimes the Tromatons simply fade away, and with the help of isotopic insidium, they can even be deceived, tricking Toxie into sounding a false alarm. In theory, that same radiation could drive the Tromatons out of control, tearing Melvin apart from the inside. In his war against evil, Toxie gathered a team of mutants who became known as the Toxic Crusaders. Meet them. Major Disaster commanding the grass itself, turning greenery into a living army. Nozone, a nose that knows 1,000 shades of stench. Bender, a mad scientist forced to share his body with his complete opposite. And Junkyard, half man, half dog, all heart. A freak show, no doubt, but one with the biggest, kindest hearts you'll ever find. Together, they stand against corporate evil in the face of Dr. Killimov and his radioactive rangers, an apocalypse incorporated led by the devil himself. But one of the most terrifying villains Toxie ever faced was Biohazard, a monster stitched together from the bodies of Melvin's old tormentors at the fitness center. When those bullies were turned into zombies, a mad scientist took their remains and built a grotesque Frankenstein, infused with the worst traits humanity had ever produced: the hatred of Hitler, the cruelty of Genghis Khan, the sadism of Vlad the Impaler, the betrayal of Judas, and topped it all off with the twisted mind of Ted Bundy. In short, a pure cocktail of hatred. Toxie did defeat him, of course, but it was a battle far from easy. The Green One was given a hard path, unlike ordinary heroes who bask in ovations, in the spotlight, in the warmth of recognition and support from the people. His strength has to come from within, from his own convictions. He's an outcast, a mutant, a freak, and no matter what he does, that will hardly ever change. Time and again, he's forced to face prejudice, even when he's protecting and saving others. People panic at the sight of him, some even faint. And let's be honest, when we face hardship, we turn to our loved ones for support. But his own mother considers her son nothing more than a monster.
No matter how hard I try to clean up the filthy evil infesting Tromaville, I simply can't escape what I've become. A monster in the eyes of all, even the good people of Tromaville. Maybe I'll never be accepted.
And yet, even in this seemingly impenetrable darkness, Toxie is destined to find his one true human happiness: love. By his side, there were always women who cared for him. And in one story, he even became a father to 2 boys. One was named Toxie, the other Kabuki. In the newer comics, his story has changed, modernized. Melvin faces relentless bullying from his classmates. After they nearly drowned him, he even began to seriously think about suicide, but thoughts of revenge hardened into a will to fight back. Junko started training, learning moves to stand up to his tormentors, with hatred fueling him like gasoline. And finally, when he gathered enough courage, he challenged one of the bullies to a fight. But instead of a fair fight, he got a fresh dose of humiliation captured on video. His shame went viral. 23 million people pressed play just to laugh at his pain again and again. In a desperate attempt to strike back at the mockery, Melvin put on a tutu and crashed the award ceremony. But the prank turned to tragedy. While trying to escape from the bullies, he found himself standing in the path of a train carrying toxic waste. But Melvin wasn't the only one who suffered the toxic waste. Also affected his tormentors. All the boys mutated into monsters, gaining immense strength, endurance, and grotesque, inhuman forms. The girl, however, developed the ability to see the future. The teenager's powers came from alien chemicals engineered by the corporation Biohazard Solutions. In truth, nothing less than biological weapons. All of the mutants could feed on toxic waste. It made them grow in size, gave them the strength to hold a helicopter in one hand, and even spew corrosive toxins. Toxie eventually killed Pluto, one of his mutated bullies, by tearing into his heart. Toxic Avenger dealt with Bonehead in an even more brutal way. Yet over time, the Green One was haunted by guilt, especially when he saw Bonehead's mother. The woman grew to hate him so much that she began kidnapping children, blaming Toxie for their disappearance, and wanting other parents to feel the same pain of loss. Over time, her mind broke, and she started turning the missing teenagers into monsters. One of the Avengers' most notorious victories was the destruction of an alien corporation that sought to reshape Earth's ecosystem to suit itself. And yes, on that path he found not only enemies, but loyal friends as well. It's also worth mentioning his companion, Yvonne. At first, theirs was just a friendship, but over time, it grew into something romantic. Yet intimacy between them never happened. It could have been deadly, since Melvin's seed carried acid and could pass on congenital mutations. On top of all his other abilities, Toxie also gained a new gift, the power to see spirits. And you know, this whole story about the Toxic Avenger, it's not just about comics. It's about us. About how easily society slaps on the label of freak, loser, monster. And about how hard it is to live with that brand afterward. Maybe you've been through bullying yourself. Maybe you're going through it right now. I want the comments under this video to be a place where you can let it out. Where no one laughs at you. Where someone actually listens. Share your story, if you've got the strength. And know this, you are not alone. If this video spoke to you, support it with a like and a subscription. It matters to me, but even more, it matters that together we create a small space of support here. Take care of yourselves. Take care of those who get called monsters. Because often, they are the most human among us. See you soon.